Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and as you can tell, this video is a bit different than what I usually do. This is an hour-long study with me where I compiled every single study time-lapse that I've taken of myself since the month of March, and I've also asked you guys to ask me some questions on YouTube, Instagram stories, and under an Instagram post, so I'll be answering all those questions. The first question is, what are your favorite stationery brands to use for your notes? Also, would you rather have a dog or a cat? I personally love Zebra Pen and Muji, especially Muji. I like to use their loose leaf, binders, and gel pens. And for Zebra Pen, I just like to use their mild liners. I use the Muji gel pen and mild liners in every single one of my notes. And I would rather have a cat. The next question is, what were some of your regrets during high school? Would you rather prefer taking digital notes or handwritten notes? Firstly, thank you so much for the love and support of my YouTube channel. For my regrets during high school, I think that should be a whole separate video, but one regret I would say is not taking freshman year seriously enough. I did work hard for my grades, however, I don't think I worked hard enough, so that's one thing that I would change. And I haven't really tried out digital notes, so I guess I couldn't really choose. However, I think that I would rather stick to handwritten notes. That's something I'm very comfortable with. But once I try digital notes, we'll see if I change my mind. The next question is, do you think you'll still be doing YouTube when you go to college? And do you plan on doing college decision reactions? 100% yes, I think I'll still be doing YouTube when I'm in college. I love YouTube so much. I love editing videos and vlogging and seeing that I inspire you guys. So in terms of the college decision reactions, I may or may not do it. I'm still thinking about it and thinking about sharing my college application journey online. I would like to, but I don't know if I'll be able to with all the stress and everything, but I will definitely update you guys. And I've always been a fan of those college decision reactions, so I may or may not do it, but I'm leaning towards doing it, so. This question is, do you like anime, particularly Sailor Moon and Studio Ghibli? I love Studio Ghibli. I love the message that it sends across. I love the aesthetics. I love the music and the characters. I've always been a fan. And for anime, I've watched a few animes like Haikyuu, and I need to start Hunter x Hunter because I heard that it's a great anime. But I remember my friend telling me in 8th grade that I should watch it, and I watched one. I forgot what it was called, but it was very, very gory. So I didn't really have a problem with gory, but it was just not my thing, and I held off on watching animes. But as I met more people, they told me that there were so many other good ones. So if you have any recommendations, then comment them down below and I'll check them out. Anastasia asked, so from what I understand, you were interested in doing orthopedic surgery. My question is, what specialty do you think you'd choose if you couldn't pick ortho? So that is true. I am very interested in doing orthopedic surgery. However, another specialty that I would do if I was unable to do ortho would be probably cardio. I am in love with the heart, and I think the way that it works is just so magical. However, if I couldn't do that, I would probably go into research or science research because I just love anything that's science, so any of those would satisfy me. So someone asked if my channel name means tea. And yes, I intended for it to mean tea. I actually wanted to put only one I because that's really how you spell it. However, the one I was already taken, so I had to go with 2 I's, and then it just became Study Chai. Fun fact, my original username was actually Study Tulip, but I just liked Study Chai more because at the time I was obsessed with drinking green tea, but I'm more of a coffee person now. So this probably has to be my favorite question. Someone asked me, outside of this channel, what else do you do for hobbies? So outside of this channel, I really love sports. It's been one of the few constants in my life. I started out doing gymnastics when I was very young, and then did dance, swimming for a couple years, and now I do volleyball. I would love to go professional and play in college. However, it's not very ideal for me considering some circumstances, but I've always loved sports my entire life, and I found myself having to always be involved for an extensive amount of time. I've done swimming for about 6 years and gymnastics for about 5, volleyball for now about 4 years. And I also love graphic design. I like making art pieces online. I make logos for some of the programs that I attend and for my own businesses. And yeah, it's kind of sad that I don't have like super interesting hobbies, but this is me and it's what I do in my free time. Study With Me asked, what classes did you take in middle school? So my middle school was split into 3 academies, law, science, and media arts, which didn't really make a difference except that we all had different teachers and different lunch periods. I was in an honors class, so all 3 years were honors level classes, and I guess the most important and relevant classes I took was my dance elective, which helped me in dance and improve my skills, and the earth science and algebra 1 class that I took in 8th grade that helped kind of give me a boost since now I didn't have to take those classes in high school. Someone asked me, what music do you like? Do you have anything on your bucket list? So I am one of those very weird people who have tastes from every single genre. I love K-pop, K-drama OSTs, musicals, sad songs, rap. Anything is my preference, but I've been listening to the same music for the past 3 years. It's never really changed. I mostly listen to Hamilton, In the Heights, The Greatest Showman, and I just have this playlist of sad songs from various artists, most of which I get from Grey's Anatomy, and if you watch Grey's Anatomy, then you obviously know why. I also enjoy listening to K-drama OSTs, specifically the ones from my favorite K-dramas, because usually when I watch them, it just makes me so much more happier. So when I listen to the music, I hope to have the same feeling. Wow, that sounds really sad. But I also listen to your mainstream artists like Khalid, Billie Eilish, Logic, Kendrick Lamar, but usually when I turn on Spotify, I immediately go to my musical playlist, which is just a mix of The Greatest Showman, In the Heights, and Hamilton. It's so weird. I just have so many different types of music that I enjoy. Sometimes I can listen to BTS days on end. I love every single one of their songs. It doesn't matter what soundtrack or playlist or album it's from. I enjoy every song that they make, which makes me sound very crazy, but that's just me, and it really just depends on how I'm feeling that day. My music taste has definitely become boring. When it was the year of 2016, I loved Drake, Nicki Minaj, all those really amazing, talented artists. But now I just turn on Spotify and immediately go to my musicals. It is so weird. I don't know if it's just me growing up or becoming more aware of reality, but yeah. One thing that would be on my bucket list would be living in Manhattan in an apartment by myself, something that I'd like to experience, which is freedom and independence. It sounds so mainstream, but it's something that I've been looking forward to and hoping that I get to experience. So someone asked, fries or nuggets? So I definitely go with nuggets because I like meat more, but I'm also allergic to fries and hot dogs and fried chicken because of the nitrates in it. I mean, I've tasted them before, but I just grew an allergy to them. So that kind of makes it even sadder because I know how good it tastes. But yeah, I'd go with nuggets. Another person asked, would you rather buy all the best stationery in the world or eat all the best food in the world? I would definitely want to eat all the best food in the world. I am such a huge foodie. I love going out to eat and trying new foods, and food is just part of my life, and I would definitely choose it over stationery. Isabella asked, what is the best and the worst part to having a YouTube channel? The best part of having a YouTube channel for me is the excitement and being able to help others while putting your own creative twist to it. Every time I upload a video or finish editing a video and I watch my creation, it's just so crazy because I literally edited that video, I filmed it, and now it's actually helping people. It's just such a good feeling. I truly enjoy editing videos, making animations, going through your comments, hearting them. It's just this whole community that I've grown to love and find such a huge and overwhelming amount of support. The difficult part of having a YouTube channel is definitely the resources that I have. I film with my phone and I have a MacBook Air with only a few gigabytes, so I always have to clear storage, and it's definitely a rigorous and difficult process for me to export a video and make some edits and changes. My laptop always burns up and something crashes, so that's just the difficult part for me, but I always try my best and power through. So someone asked, where are you from? What's your favorite color? And what's your dream or favorite pet? So I'm half Black. My father is half African American, half Caribbean, and my mother is Filipino. So my other half is Asian or Pacific Islander. My favorite color is black, and my dream pet would be a little turtle. I actually tried to buy one online, but my father said it was illegal, so I'm just confused with the whole thing. So for now, it's just my dream pet. Another person asked, what is your opinion in the Black Lives Matter movement? So just a little background, I am Black, obviously, and I've been supporting the movement ever since I found out about it in my middle school years. So I am obviously a very, very strong supporter of it. I always speak out and try to educate people about it. I honestly have so many opinions and beliefs about the movement. I don't even think that it will all fit in one video, but just to shorten it up real quick, I think that the Black Lives Matter movement is obviously so much more than police brutality. It's amplifying Black voices, it's making sure that we are being heard, and it's to address systematic racism in every single system in America. It is not only prevalent in the justice system, but is also prevalent in the healthcare system, in the education system, and I believe that we should all be fighting against that. America was built on slavery and the blood, sweat, and tears of Black people, and the fact that we are being killed on the street and not being cared for just because of our skin color is just the most un-American thing I can imagine. Black people have suffered 400 years of oppression and it is not stopping, so we need to all keep protesting and supporting the movement and donating and educating and changing the system for the better. I'd also like to speak about the education system since my channel is focused on education. The education system in America is very, 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 very whitewashed. We learn barely any Black history. We are taught that Malcolm X was an enemy of MLK, which isn't true. We were not educated on the level in which we should be to understand systematic racism. I was never taught redlining, which was basically when white people would outline Black communities and either overthrow them or defund them. We were taught to praise Christopher Columbus despite the fact that he committed genocide, and we are only given 28 days in February to learn about Black history, even though American history is literally Black history. When I am in my APUSH class and we come across important Black leaders and organizations like the NAACP, we don't learn anything about them. Instead of going more in depth about how racism only evolved over the years, we talk about and are taught to idolize these white presidents who literally owned slaves. And I just think that we are not being taught enough, and we are given Eurocentric values that obviously should not exist in the education system. And this issue is not political. It is a social issue and something that everyone needs to address, something that the education system needs to address in order to spark change. And I think the main issue is also the fact that people think that slavery and segregation and Jim Crow laws was like 1,000 years ago, even though it was less than 100 years ago. There are people who are still alive who face segregation, and the KKK and a lot of white supremacist organizations are still existing today, and people who are in those organizations roam around free. So obviously America has a lot to work on, and we need to start dismantling the systems that exist and change it for the better, because Black people are dying every day for no entire reason. My people are dying, and it's just really heartbreaking. I just hope that everyone starts educating themselves and starts fighting for what's right and are on the right side of history. Someone asked, do you stan K-pop groups? So I do enjoy BTS and Red Velvet's music. I think they're attractive. However, I don't think I can consider myself a stan because I don't know if I'm qualified. I mean, I only listen to their music. I'm not updated in what they do or anything. So I'll call myself a fan, but I don't know if I'm an actual stan. Destiny asked, how does your religion and culture play a role in your education? So my religion and culture play such a huge role in my education. For my religion, I have to pray 5 times a day because I am Muslim. So obviously there comes a time where I have to dedicate a portion of my day to my religion and praying. So that takes time out of my studies and education, which I am totally okay with because religion always comes first. In addition, because of my religion, I am not pressured by my parents to get straight A's all the time. They would encourage it, however, I am not really pressured into getting it. It is something that I put upon myself and stress upon myself to get good grades because my parents are very religious people and they believe that education is important. However, religion always comes first. So any resources that would help advance me have always been my responsibility. Excellence in Asian cultures are obviously very much desired. However, my mother valued religion more, so I'm always the one insisting that I do extracurriculars than the other way around. So it's really just pressure I put upon myself. For my father's side, my father did not grow up in a rich environment. So that kind of taught him that hard work always beats brains, and that's something that he has taught me and has helped me throughout my education. I am not brilliant. I don't have a naturally gifted, smart mind, so I've always been taught to work very, very hard, and I have been taught that I have to run 10 times faster than those who have privilege in education. So I've always been taught to value education and not take advantage of it, while learning how to balance education into my life and learn that success and education are 2 separate things. My culture has definitely taught me that I should always care for school and make sure that I work hardest and never ever give up. In my household, we focus more on the work ethic and lessons and leadership rather than the actual grade or actual level of success that we reach, which I am very proud of, and yeah. Also, just to clarify, my mother is Asian, she's Filipino, and my father is Black, and I am Muslim. Both my parents are Muslim. Starry Studies asked, which AP class is your favorite? Do you think taking online classes is worth it? And what are your top 3 study tips for focusing on schoolwork? By the way, lots of love. Hello, thank you so much for all the love, and my favorite AP class is definitely AP Biology. It's the reason why I get up every day and go to school. I am in love with that class. I love my teacher, I love the class, I love the stuff that I learn in the class. It's amazing. You guys should definitely take AP Biology if you like science. And I don't think that taking online classes is worth it. Online class, it's definitely such a downgrade from the actual class environment, and I don't learn well for online classes. The deadlines are so hard to keep track of, and I don't really get that connection with the teacher, so it's hard to contact and ask questions and understand the content. This is my own opinion, and this is what I personally think of it. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but this is just what I think. And my top 3 study tips would be: number 1, study under natural lighting. It will help boost your productivity. Number 2 would be to delete some distracting apps from your phone, because our phones are our biggest distractions. And number 3 is to always seek help and resources, because sometimes some people's brains, like mine, are not wired to certain things. So definitely seeking help and taking advantage of the many resources that you have available. So Cindy, with the very attractive profile picture, asks, are you obsessed with Avatar: The Last Airbender? I am very, very, very obsessed with this show. Guys, I've been watching this since I was little, and the fact that I've grown and I still cannot get over this show it just goes to show how good the show is. Cindy is one of the few people I talk and fangirl about Avatar: The Last Airbender. We send each other pictures and videos every day. Okay, it's mostly just me sending videos and pictures for her to see, but I really cannot get over it. I could have a whole conversation about it. I am on the Avatar: The Last Airbender subreddit. I follow like tons of edit accounts and I repost them on my close friend story for all my friends to see, even though they're very much tired of it. I can literally just rewatch any episode and it'll just instantly boost my mood. I think the show is really amazing. It teaches great life lessons. The characters and the development is just immaculate. I really hope that the live action comes out soon. It's been announced about 2 years ago and nothing has happened, so I'm just patiently waiting while sending all my friends pictures and videos. Yasha asked, will you be doing videos of your college application process? So I am also very, very nervous, being that I'm also a rising senior and college applications are coming. I will definitely try to upload as many application related videos as I can. I'm not sure what or when or how I'm going to do it, but I will try to update you guys as much as I can. It's going to be very stressful, so I can't promise that I will, but I will very much try and ask others for advice and try to post them and share some information with you guys. And thank you so much for the love. Destiny asked, what are the internships you have done and how did you find all these opportunities? So I'm definitely going to be making a separate video after college applications about my internships and extracurriculars, so that is being saved for another video. I found these opportunities online through the internet or through a program that I'm in at my school. It's called Gateway for Higher Success, and it's for people of financial disadvantage, people of color, and minorities to help them get ready for the real world and college. Noor asked, what is your name? Hi Noor, my name is Fatima. Abdulti Studies asked, why did you start a Studygram? So when I was in middle school, Studygrams and journaling accounts were becoming so much more popular amongst the community that I was in, so I decided to try out this so-called Studygram myself, and at first I didn't want anyone to know who I was because I was kind of embarrassed, and I don't know, I felt like what I was posting was just so ugly and I didn't want anyone to know. But then obviously people found out. It got to the point where people who knew me but not my account started finding out about my account and then found out that I owned the account. It was just this whole thing, and I started it off on a whim. I wasn't really thinking about it. It was popular and I was like, all right, I'll hop on the bandwagon. But then it became so much more bigger, and one of my friends, Noor, she asked me what my name was in the previous question. She knew about my account, and then we met in high school, and then she told me that she knew about my account before she knew me, which was really funny. But yeah, that's how it came to be. Nevermind Studying asked, how is it being Muslim in New York City? So I live in one of the most diverse cities in the world. I live in Queens, and so here in Queens, people are used to diversity and learn to respect one another, but there are people who still don't learn. And so being Muslim in New York City, it's not all that bad. I am privileged enough to have such a diverse community around me. Other Muslims come here, and I am not the only hijabi where I live. However, sometimes there are people who don't respect the fact that I'm Muslim. They make comments, you're a terrorist. I've gotten that a lot. But otherwise, it's fine. I love it here. It's diverse, and the people who are not racist outnumber the people who are. So Studygram and T asked, what is your biggest challenge when you start a Studygram? How can you overcome that challenge? I'd say that my biggest challenge is finding my theme and style. I was new to all of this, and I honestly just felt so confused, and I felt like every single thing that I made wasn't up to par. So one thing I did to overcome that was look for inspiration and work on myself and practice calligraphy, my handwriting, find my note-taking style. It is very difficult to find your place and find the materials and the space you need in order to create your own style, but as more time goes on and as you keep practicing and paying attention to what you create on your Studygram, then you are good to go. Youth Studies asked, what's your favorite brush pen and why? My favorite brush pen would be the Pencil Fude Touch brush sign pen. I really love how it's flexible in its tip and produces so much ink. It's very flowy and it's very small and portable, and you can literally fit the calligraphy anywhere. I also really like the Zebra Pen hard tip brush pen because I can literally use that for anything from drawing lines to writing non-calligraphy to writing actual calligraphy. I found myself using it so often. It's one of the main things I carry around in my pencil case, and I really just can't write anything without it. Coding Chai Queen asked, what are your future goals? This is such a huge question, and I only recently figured out what I want it to be, so this is something that I don't know if I can answer, but one future goal that I do have is to stay in New York City and to keep learning. Nanny PCY asked, which country would you like to go? Love from Mexico. I would honestly love to visit Canada. I've always heard such great things about it, and I don't know, it seems like they also have really cool stuff there. It's always been a dream of mine to go to Canada, and thank you for all the love. I was also asked how to have self-control while using electronic devices. I honestly don't have total self-control, but what really helped me was deleting apps that were distracting. I deleted TikTok and Snapchat, and that honestly helped me so much in getting more work done and not getting distracted, because those were the two apps that were distracting me the most. Mariana asked, would you rather be able to freeze time or travel in time? Honestly, I'd rather freeze time because I feel like if I traveled in time, I would make a few mistakes in trying to fix my mistakes and create a butterfly effect. So freezing time would mean less mistakes and the universe wouldn't be as mad. Someone asked, when did you start to make nicer notes? I started to make nicer notes when I started my Studygram, which was in 8th grade, and I continued into 9th grade, and then after that I decided to pay more attention to the functionality of the notes rather than how it looks. Disarm Designs asked if I have any favorite planners or other stationery and for specific brands. I personally really like Muji. I love their loose leaves and their pens. I think that together they work super smooth, and I also like Zebra Pen. I love their mild liners and their brush pens. I think they're great for highlighting and they have such a wide variety of color. For planners, I think that Bear and Fig is a great company. I love the fact that their planners lay flat and they have such a huge variety from listing planners to actual planners. And I also love Personal Planner. I've worked with them for a couple years and they produce such beautiful planners, and the best part of it is personalized on the outside and the inside, so it's very, very functional. And yeah, other than that, I think Muji is the most universal stationery brand there is, and I use so much of their products. And lastly, for a more minimalistic planner look, I think that Moss Rico is a great company, although they can be a bit pricey. Someone asked what my favorite candy is, and my favorite candy is definitely peanut M&Ms or Swedish Fish. Someone asked, if your life was a movie, what genre would it be and which actress or actor would you want to play you? If my life was a movie, it would definitely be drama, and not like the romantic drama, but more like the comedy drama. I live in a pretty eventful environment. I live in New York City where crazy stuff happens every day. I have 6 other siblings and we all are crazy and unique in our own way, so nothing really ever gets boring in my household. As a person, I'm just the type of person who likes to do literally anything and everything. I am also very dramatic, according to my friends, so I'd probably feed into the drama. It would just be a crazy whirlwind of comedy and drama, more like a reality TV show. And the actress that I would want to play me would probably just be me, because I feel like there should be a little bit more diversity and inclusion in the movie industry, and I also don't really see a lot of people who look like me, so that would be kind of like an interesting storyline. Yi Wen asked, what is your dream school? So I'd say my dream school would have to be Columbia University for a multitude of reasons. Number one, it's my dream because I don't even think I'll ever get in. It has like an acceptance rate of 5 or something, and it's an Ivy League, so that's never gonna happen. But also because of the fact that it is literally in an area of Manhattan that I love so much, and The campus is huge and so beautiful. I've been to it a couple times, and to be going there every single day and being able to study in that kind of environment is honestly a dream. But yeah, I don't expect myself to get in because it's very, very hard, and I don't think I'm that smart, but it is definitely a dream. Another really good question I got is, how do you manage YouTube and studying together? So managing my YouTube and also studying is definitely a difficult task and something that I am still learning how to do properly. But what really helped me is making a schedule. I have a huge calendar of when I post videos and when I edit or when I film, and also what I film. I always tailor what I film to my conveniences as a student who is studying. For example, that video where I made a vlog of the day before the exam, I obviously couldn't do like a desk tour or a room tour during that time because I literally had AP exams. So I decided to revolve that video of that week around my AP exams and preparing for them. So technically while I film, that's when I study and I film time lapses, and obviously there comes a time where I have to readjust the camera or try to fix the lighting, but that only takes a couple seconds, and I edit them whenever I have free time. So YouTube definitely does take a huge amount of my time since I dedicate all my free time to just editing and perfecting my videos. And I'm not sure if this is healthy, but usually I spend about 2 days total editing a video. And during those 2 days, I spend literally the entire day or hours on end just editing, so then I don't have to pan it out and have to edit when I'm supposed to study. So doing everything all at once is something that I've learned to do in order to balance studying and YouTube. Aubrey asked, how do you plan? Daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly? So right off the bat, I never plan yearly. I feel like that's just too much of a stretch, and if I plan yearly, then I'll never get anything done. But it all depends really. When I plan monthly, that's when I feel so unorganized and so unsure of what lies ahead. It's usually in the summer months where I plan monthly and I list out some monthly goals that I have for myself. But during school months, I already know that I'm going to be taking exams and doing extracurriculars, so I don't really have monthly goals, but I have weekly goals. So when it comes to weekly, I only plan weekly when I have no idea what's going on in the week and I'm unable to keep track of everything. I like to plan weekly and organize my brain and get ready for the days ahead. This is usually during finals week, midterm week, or AP exams week. And I always plan daily. Every morning or the night before, I always have a list of what I need to do. It is something that I cannot live without. I always need to make a list of what I'm doing, or I'll lose track of what I'm doing, or I feel directionless. The only days where I don't plan daily would be when I am intending on spending an entire day on one assignment. That usually is an essay or editing my video. This happens rarely, and usually I try to avoid it because it's not productive and healthy. Cassie asked, do you want to visit your mother's family that lives at the Philippines? So I actually had the opportunity to meet my mother's family that lives in the Philippines about 5 years ago or 6 years ago. It was the summer of 7th grade, and I feel like it was just yesterday, even though it was so long ago, because the days in the Philippines are very, very long. So I felt like I was there for an entire year, even though I was there for only 2 months. But overall, the experience was so enlightening and so different because my mother's family is in the province of the Philippines, so we would fetch water from the well, and there was a rice field behind where I lived. It was a very different experience, especially since I grew up as a, I guess, city girl, but I loved it there, and I would love to go again. I've been trying to convince my mom to let us go again because I really missed the experience, and I miss everyone there. Another person asked, if you could go back in time, what advice would you give yourself a year ago? So if I would go back in time, there is a lot of things I would tell myself. When I was watching the graduation commencement of 2020 on YouTube, I came across a quote that said, do not talk all the time, listen to your friends and mentors, listen and learn from them. And now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like if I were to go back in time, I would tell myself this over and over again. I feel like I talk too much, and although I do a good amount of listening, I don't listen enough. And I feel like if I listened more, then I'd be a little bit more wiser today, so that's what I would definitely tell myself. Sketches Fun asked, what editing software do you use, and do you have any tips for someone starting a StudyTube? So I use iMovie on my MacBook Air, and on my iPhone, sometimes I use Velo. These products are completely free because I can't afford expensive editing softwares, so I try my best to just manipulate what I have and make a video as nice as possible. I'm fairly new to the whole StudyTube thing, but one advice I would give is to definitely put in your all and make sure that you post consistently. Starting a StudyTube is definitely very, very difficult, especially when you have to start learning how to edit and do thumbnails and everything. So practicing editing and practicing making thumbnails and trying your best at producing the best content that you can ever make will definitely help you in the long run. Isa asked, what is one memorable lesson you have learned in high school so far? One memorable lesson I've learned would be to always thank the people who have helped you find success and to always give credit to others, because it will definitely help humble you and make you feel more motivated and ambitious to pursue even more and become the best version of yourself. Aya Starthik asked, what is your advice to those people who do not like using planners to manage their time? If you don't like using planners and you don't like the controlling aspect of planners and the design, then I would recommend that you make your own to-do lists. Sometimes when I don't feel like using planners either, or I feel like the planner setup and design is a little bit too controlling, I like to make lists and customize that list by putting notes on the side and putting dates and deadlines, or even constructing my own planner system and organization sheet in a notebook or blank piece of paper, or even creating a times table and just setting up a system for you and what works best for you, because I know that planners can be a little bit too controlling. However, I think that lists is the most simple and efficient way to go. Anika asked, what is the best paper for writing notes? I personally think that Muji loose leaf paper is the best loose leaf that you can ever use. The paper is super smooth. Whenever you use gel pen on it, it will never bleed through or ghost as much, and when you highlight, the highlighter does not bleed through either. It is very reliable, and it comes in all different shapes, sizes, and patterns, so I definitely recommend that you guys check it out. The only downside is that there are so many holes, so you need a certain binder to keep them in, but I like to keep them in a folder. It really isn't a big deal. However, when it comes to bleeding and everything, I think that you have to use the Muji retractable pen in order for it not to bleed as much, but if you use a very inky gel pen, then it will show a little. Noreen asked, which is your favorite YouTube channel? And I'd have to say that my favorite YouTube channel, in terms of the StudyTube community, because there are just so many that I can't keep track of, would definitely be Revisine. Every time we have a conversation, her username just pops up, and I always ask, like, how do you pronounce it? But I think it's Revisine. But yeah, I will link her channel down below. I think you guys probably know who she is and know her StudyTube. And if you're watching this, Daisy, please, can we collab? Chloe asked, for black pens, would you choose Sarasa or Muji? Honestly, I've never tried the Zebra Sarasa pens in black, but when I was watching Jasmine's video, Study Quill, on her reviewing every single pen she owns, she says that she thinks that the Zebra Sarasa and the Muji retractable gel pens are just the same pen. So I'm going to trust her theory and say that they are probably both equally the same, but I've always used Muji retractable pens for years and I'm a huge fan. It never bleeds through the loose leaf, and whenever you highlight, you don't need to wait like 5 minutes for it to dry. It dries pretty quick, and so I would probably choose the Muji retractable pens, also because I have a bias towards Muji. So another good question is, have you ever faced any challenges with starting or growing on social media as a hijabi? So my presence on social media isn't really based on my appearance, it's more based on what I do and the art and content that I create for my followers and subscribers. So I haven't really had any image problems, but I have always been a little bit insecure because I felt like if I showed my face on my platforms, then people would like me less because I wear hijab. That's just an internal thing and something that goes through my head, but I haven't really faced any outward challenges that would put my account or like my platform in jeopardy. Here's another good question. Someone asked, how do you manage studying during your period? Now, I truly despise whenever I get my period, because that just means me laying in bed in pain and not being able to do anything. Sometimes I have to get up and do my work because school calls me, but it's very hard to manage studying during my period. Very, very hard, especially for those who also have cramps and feel so much pain, not only in their stomach but in their backs and everywhere on their body. But what I would do is I would make sure I have a good enough sleep and make sure that I take many breaks. I make sure that I slept for like 10 plus hours because my body's gonna need it. And whenever I do my work, I do it in increments. I can never sit down in one sitting for like hours on end like I usually do. I really could never, and if you are able to do that, like, I don't know how you do it, but I can never do it. So I just take breaks and do my work in increments and make sure that I take things one step at a time. Madeline asked, what are your top book, movie, TV show, and YouTube channel recommendations? Basically, what do you like? So my taste in movies are the same thing as my music taste. I can never decide on one genre that I truly like. So first off is sci-fi. I love the sci-fi movies that really make you think at the end, and some of those would be Interstellar and Inception. I also like Star Wars. And for musicals, I love The Greatest Showman, and I'm anticipating the musical In the Heights because it's Broadway, but they are turning it into a movie, and Hamilton, so I'm looking forward to those. I also like action movies like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I find that movie so hilarious, and literally all the Marvel movies, I've been watching them since I was a kid, so I kind of grew to love action, and literally any 1990s and 2000s rom-coms. I am obsessed with rom-coms. I probably watched every single rom-com on Netflix and just every rom-com to ever exist. Comment down below if you have any rom-coms that you think I didn't watch, and I will reply to you and let you know if I did watch it. I probably did. And any movie with Denzel Washington. He is in so many Black empowerment movies. It blows my mind. He's in Fences, Remember the Titans, Malcolm X, and so much more. And for shows, I like Sherlock. I think that show is just amazing, mind-blowing. Grey's Anatomy is a really great show for learning lessons and also watching surgeries. And Avatar: The Last Airbender, you guys already know that is literally my favorite show to ever exist. For K-dramas, I recommend that you guys watch those if you guys are getting pretty bored right now in quarantine. The ones that I enjoy are the romantic comedy ones, but they're mostly from 2016 because I think that after 2016 all the drama just went downhill from there. But I do enjoy Goblin, Uncontrollably Fond, Weightlifting Fairy, Fight for My Way, and Cinderella and the Four Knights. And that is not the entire list, but those are the ones I can think of right now. And for YouTube, I obviously love my study tubers like Coffee Milk and Revisign. They help motivate me so much. Study Quill. And the other YouTubers that I watch on a daily would be like Best Dressed, Generation DIY, mostly the artistic and creative YouTubers. And when I'm very, very bored, I watch Avatar Critic, which is just a channel dedicated to talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender because I'm that obsessed. But the list goes on for my favorite shows and movies because I have such a diverse taste, but those are what I can think of right now. Also, I forgot, I love Miraculous Ladybug. It's a children's show, but let me tell you, it's so good. I feel like I just love children's shows so much, but guys, you have to watch some of these because it's really good. Oh, I also recommend The Inheritors and Love Alarm for K-dramas. I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop now. So Athira asked, what is your personality type? What country do you want to go to the most and why? So I took the 16 personality test and I found out that I am an INFJ, and that basically means that I have an advocate personality type, which they say is very rare, but I've met a few people who are the same thing as me. I'm not sure if I'm just in an area where there are a lot of INFJs, but I don't know. But they say that advocates have an inborn sense of idealism and morality, but what sets them apart is that they are not idle dreamers. These individuals are capable of taking concrete steps to realize their goals and make a lasting positive impact. People with this personality type tend to see others as their purpose in life. Advocates can often be found engaging in rescue efforts and doing charity work. However, their real passion is to get to the heart of the issue so that people need not to be rescued at all. Advocates indeed share a unique combination of traits. Though soft-spoken, they have very strong opinions and will fight tirelessly for an idea they believe in. They are decisive and strong-willed, but will rarely use that energy for personal gain. So, personally, I think that I'm a pretty good INFJT. This is a pretty accurate result, and I've seen this kind of personality in myself in many of the things that I do, so it's kind of scary to me that it's just so spot on, but it's really interesting. And let me know if you're an INFJT, because apparently we only make up like 3% of the world, but I've met a lot of people, so let me know. But they also asked, what country do you want to go to the most and why? And I think I answered that before, but I want to go to Canada. I mean, free healthcare, super nice people, amazing products, or so I've heard. They must be doing something right. Plus, I live in America. That's a pretty good enough excuse to want to go to Canada. Another person asked, are you an early bird or a night owl? And at what time do you prefer waking up at? Also, what time do you suggest for waking up early in the morning? So, I am personally a night owl. I appear to be a morning person because of my study vlogs, which take place starting at like 6 a.m. and that's only when I'm feeling very, very productive. However, it takes so long and so much to wake up at 6 a.m. I put on like 10 alarms, and I feel like I'm just wired to work at night. I've always been staying up all night doing work ever since I was in middle school, so I guess my body is just used to the night. I prefer waking up at around 6:30 to 7 a.m. I think that is peak time where I can get ready and feel energized enough to do work. Also, I suggest that you guys wake up at like 6:30 and 7 a.m. too. I mean, I'm biased towards that time, but if you wake up really, really early, then you can make the most out of your day. So I'm finally going to end this very long Q&A with this question from Mikala. Would you rather be an average person in the present or a queen of a large country 2,500 years ago? I would probably be an average person in the present. To be honest, being the queen of a large country 2,500 years ago doesn't really appeal to me as much. I actually searched up this time period on Google just now, and what came up was just a lot of results for cannabis use and weed, which I'm just very confused about. But yeah, I'd probably be an average person in the present. Right now, I know it's not the best time to live because of global warming and injustice everywhere, but I'd like to be part of the generation that makes a change. Thank you guys so much for watching if you watched all the way through, and enjoy the next few minutes of me studying. you.